What is up, guys? Griffin here, just coming back to you guys with another live stream. I know it's already been at least a month. I would say even more since we did like an actual sit down live stream like this. I did a live stream probably about a month ago where we just hit 5 years in business, which was awesome. So I had to go live for that, of course. But if you're new to me, first and foremost, you're tuning in, be it live or after this goes from a live to a video, which I know is what most of you all see this content. Just wondering who the heck is this guy? My name is Griffin Thomas. I actually own the company you see on my shirt right here, Preferred Pest Management, in the Dallas, Texas area. And on my channel overall, I just kind of document my entire business journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, just trying to save you all lots of years and lots of money and lots of headaches along the way. And my live streams, they're Q&A based specifically. So if you ever have any questions, you can feel free to throw it in the chat. I'm always looking at that periodically and trying to stay up to date with all of our chat questions and all that good fun stuff. And then of course we have, some main topics, so to speak, that I'm kind of course, in the title, you'll see this one. We're going to be talking about how to grow your home service business in 2026 and beyond. Some tools you definitely want to utilize. A lot of them are free, believe it or not. Of course, there's a lot of paid tools that you can use out there, especially with all the AI crap that everybody seems to be throwing out there right now. But yeah, if you have any questions along the way, do not hesitate to throw it in the chat. Go ahead and shout out some of you guys real quick. I see we got Jay Gadget in the chat. So what's good? Hopefully you're having a good day, sir. um, but with that, and by the way, speaking of which, we also have a phone number now that you all can actually text or leave a voicemail at as well. I try to check that periodically before streams and things like that. And you all actually give me plenty of video ideas to do on top of that. But while we wait on some people to join in today, I see we got a few people tuning in, and we will go ahead and just kind of start getting to the nitty gritty of the actual stream, which is like we say, just how to go about be it starting or growing your home service business in 2026 and beyond. We're going to talk with pricing in a video about pricing recently, but we'll dive into that some. Different systems like SOPs for employees. What even is an SOP? How far do you actually need to go with it? Should you still do written SOPs? Should you just do video? Some of that stuff, which also, of course, leads into hiring. I know a lot of you guys don't have any employees right now, or you might have one. You might have one that didn't work out, whatever the case may be. We'll talk about how about the hiring process and making sure that obviously, if you're batting 500, you're doing very good, but how we can, try to almost get it to where people that are looking for the job are strictly the ones that know what they're signing up for, if that makes sense. And then, like we said, of course, most importantly, we're going to talk about different tools that not enough home service business owners, regardless if you're in the pest control industry like myself, or if you're, a painter or an HVAC or plumbing, whatever the case may be. I know a lot of you guys are not utilizing these tools enough. So, with that being said, I will actually get my screen pulled up here for you guys right now. We'll get this guy up. And for those of you that are watching on the phone side of things, it might look a little squished here. So, I apologize. This is something that we're playing around with at the moment. So bear with me if you can't see the screen portion very well. We also are streaming on desktop version as well. And again, that's on YouTube specifically. So we have mobile format, and then we also have the desktop format as well. But now that we got our screen pulled up here, first tool number one is obviously going to be Google Search Console. If you don't know by now what Google Search Console is, which I know a lot of home service business owners or aspiring home service business owners do not. Of course, I did not until I got thrown out into the fire and had to start my own business myself as well. But Google Search Console, in short, is just kind of Google's own free tool that you connect to your website that is going to track just your more than Google Analytics. It's going to let you know what people are searching for, what web pages are showing up the best, and for what search terms. That way, you can dive in and see not just the analytics, but hey, is this web page, say we have a squirrel removal page in the case of pest control, and for some reason it's showing up for weed removal. Sounds crazy, I know, but if all you got to do is mess up one little thing and it can throw off the keywords that your page is showing up for. So definitely a tool that you want to utilize. Like I said, you can look at all of your different queries here. Just over the last 28 days, we've had something like what? I was walking my view over 1,000 different search terms that we've showed up for in some shape or form. Of course, wasp removal. We've had a lot of calls for that recently. Pest control Plano, Texas, pest control near me. So we're showing up, of course, for a lot of terms that we definitely want to show up for. And I should add too, don't focus so much on clicks because with a lot of how do I phrase it, like a lot of the VPN tools that are out there, and there's all these different blockers anymore that people have specifically on their cell phones. A lot of the clicks are not going to be tracked. That's why you're going to want to use other tools that we'll talk about here in a minute as well. Specifically on your website to more so kind of track where exactly every single lead is coming from. Um, so we got Freddie in the chat. What's up, Brooklyn? Been a while. You and the family doing well. How 2025 go? Yeah. 2025. We cannot complain. Growth is over. Looks like we're going to finish just over 50% in terms of growth year over year. Um, so we definitely cannot complain about that. It looks like we're probably not going to quite hit, obviously, what I call like our stretch goal, but we're going to have blown through what my initial goal was for 2025. So we definitely cannot complain, with our overall results for 2025. And of course, we still have about 2 weeks roughly to go. So we will see kind of how everything goes. But yeah, I mean, I like specifically I don't really mess with, like, these monthly options too often unless if, like, I'm really wanting to go back and just take a look at the broader data, and I should actually add here that Google Search Console's been having an issue lately. Those of you watching on desktop, you can see this a little bit better. It says last updated over 48 hours ago. So, I've been noticing this and on, different SEO Reddit pages, a lot of people have been mentioning, like, they've seen that it's behind actually by 2 to 4 days, so, something to keep in mind with that, always keep an eye out on when this was last updated. Usually, it's pretty good. I mean, they didn't even used to have a 24-hour tab, like an option that you could pick up until about a few months ago, so back in the day, you only had the 7-day and so on to use, and sometimes that even would be days off, but it's been getting better, so just again, something to keep an eye on there, but I'm mostly, like, looking at, okay, what have we been doing the last week, the last few weeks, and then once a month or so, I like going back and just looking at, overall, like, the last year specifically when it comes to, of course, clicks and our overall position. You can see here we have obviously made some pretty big SEO progress over the last, what is this, roughly 16 months, I believe. It says average position at 44, but if you go the last 7 days, our average position is 17. So obviously that alone is a pretty big difference. I mean, we could even do the last 28 days and it's still around 17. Looks like we did actually just take a dip all of a sudden, but that's the thing too, guys, is it's like unless if you see some absolute crash, I'll show you something that you want to keep an eye on. When you see something like this, where you have this kind of normal trend, right? We still weren't doing great by any means back in early late 24, right before we hired our SEO company. We are still getting some clicks, but overall our average ranking just wasn't great. But then all of a sudden you see, boom, we dropped 3 to 4 pages site wide. That is obviously something that a tool like this can help you find. And then obviously, like we said, you see, I compare it to like the stock market, right? You're gonna have gains, 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 and then boom, you're gonna have a little setback. You're gonna kind of plateau, and then gains, 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 and then you see little drops here all throughout. So I'm not necessarily worried about our recent little drop here. If we break below like 25 to 30, um, they'll probably be having a little chat just to make sure that everything's going all right. But you can see here we've been just beating our heads against the wall right around bottom of page one, top roughly. for the last 2 months or so, but again, this is why, like, this tool's free. I can't stress that enough. Like, this is a free tool that Google provides for you to really just track your overall SEO progress. I see in a lot of, like, home service business groups, specifically, of course, I'm in a bunch of pest control business groups, obviously, where SEO, it's not so much a common topic, but whenever it is brought up, everybody's either lost, don't know how to their company they're using accountable. Um, they almost think it's a scam because like they don't know how to really track the results. And Google Search Console is obviously by far kind of the where the buck ends, where everything comes to a head, so to speak, because I mean it's literally pulling the data right from your website and right from Google. Speaking of which, we will pivot and I'll answer some of your all's comments here in just a second. Speaking of which, you also do not want to ignore um, Bing Master Webmasters. So what you'll do is you'll go to bing.com/webmasters. It's kind of like their Bing's version of Google Search Console. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention to this one nearly as much, but I will say, ever since the AI boom, has started going, we have received a ton of leads just within the last 12 months from Bing and similar platforms to Bing than the previous like 4 years in business put together. And how we track that as well. Like I said, I'll get into that in a minute too. But again, this is just Bing, Microsoft Bing's own version of Google Search Console, essentially. You're going to see pretty much all the same data. Sometimes it can be a little bit better in terms of giving you actual recommendations, keyword research, taking a look at your site maps, your backlinks, things of that nature. But again, that's bing.com/webmasters. You'll go through the same process you did with Google Search Console and you're all set up. It's actually slightly easier. If I remember right, there's a way you can like use your Google Search Console to kind of help you get going, if that makes sense. But it might be under configuration. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I don't even use this like super often. I usually come in here and print out different things from like the keyword research as well as the search performance, and I just kind of look at it every 90 days roughly. Like I said, just pay enough attention to it to kind of know what's going on. You can see here in terms of clicks, like we're not necessarily you know, killing it or anything on there, but um, obviously 39 clicks in a period of what 2 to 3 months. That's about a click a day or so. So I mean, even well, not a click a day, a click every 3 days, and usually organic traffic. We have a pretty high conversion rate in terms of having some sort of lead be put in there, be it a phone call, form submission, whatever the case may be. So say, we're getting roughly a click every 3 days, we'll call it from Bing, which is actually pretty slow compared to usual, but let's roll with this data. It's real time. Click every 3 days, you're going to be talking roughly a lead a week, maybe lead every 2 weeks. So, like I said, I mean, it's not something that's like just killing it for us, but we're not putting like any time or effort into it. Whatever we're doing for Google, we figure it's going to work roughly the same for Bing. Um, like you said, there's AI tools, of course, that pull from Bing as well. So that's where optimizing your content for AI is going to help. Obviously, human first and foremost, but in terms of schema markup and things like that, that's where it's probably going to help with Bing as well. But my point being is, in terms of generating money, generating leads, we're probably getting roughly a lead every 1 to 2 weeks from Bing. That's at a minimum. We've had some weeks where I'm like, dude, we've got like 3 leads from Bing this week. Like, what the hell's going on? In Perplexity and all these other tools. So let's see here. Got another comment. We got Ronnie in the chat. What's going on, Griffin? It's good to be able to catch you on a live again. It's been a while. Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Hope all's well for you as well over there. Yeah, like I said, I know it's been we did a stream about a month ago after we hit 5 years in business. But that stream quality was not great because I was one driving in between stops, but two, my service just wasn't that great, even with being connected to my hotspot. So not even counting that stream, it's been like 2 months since we've even gone live. I'm gonna be getting back into more of a schedule routine. It's been so crazy the last few months of business in a good way, but I have really kind of taken the foot off the gas in terms of just other different things for you guys specifically. So I've been really working on getting my schedule back in place, getting the show back on the road for you guys. Speaking of well, no, I'm not gonna get to that right now. I'll get to it in a few minutes once we get done wrapping up this little portion about, like, website traffic and figuring out where your leads are coming from, all that good stuff. The next one that we are going to run now, this one is I've given you guys the free ones. I'm not affiliated with CallRail or anything like that. Matter of fact, I've been trying to get a hold, or not get a hold of them, but get some type of like affiliate deal for you guys. But it's been near impossible. I don't know what's going on with the platform that they use for that, but in ways that makes it even better for you guys because we have literally zero affiliation with them whatsoever. But with CallRail, what you're primarily going to look at is your form submissions. Now, what I love about form submissions is it will tell you what page that they came from, what the source was, ChatGPT, Google, Facebook, etc. I'm not going to keep that stuff up there very long, because of the fact that all this is actually integrated into your website also on the back end, just like you do with Google Analytics, Google Search Console, um, Bing, Microsoft Bing, all that good stuff, the Webmaster Tool. All of it is linked into the back end of your website. Same thing with CallRail here. The difference with CallRail, which I will show you guys, uh, do this. I'll show you guys kind of just their overall website, so to speak. That way you can kind of see just like what all you do get in terms of everything. Now, the plan that we are on is, I believe, just call inform traffic. So this one, this is not really worth it, in my opinion. You won't want to go if you're going to go ahead and do this. Go straight for this. And I did not know they had a yearly discount. I'm gonna have to look at that. But with this, you're gonna get everything, that obviously comes on the call tracking, but you're also going to get the form tracking. That is the part that I was mentioning, goes into the back end with your form builder that will have all that information in your call rail platform. Once a blue moon, for some crazy reason, it'll have a hiccup and miss a form. Doesn't really happen very often, but it happens enough where I notice it, like, because I like everything. Now, the good thing is I also use formatable forms for our form builder. So with that, with formatable forms specifically, they can track that as well. So if for some reason call rail blip, just go in and pull that data from uh, our actual website. Form builder as well, but this is more than just the form tracking. Like we said, this is also call tracking. So you're going to get 5 different numbers you can use. So your Google Business Profile, you're going to want a few numbers for your website tool, usually 3 or 4. That's why they give you 5 with that. And then you can purchase additional members, I think, for like $5 a month, like nothing crazy. So, like if you're running Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever the case may be, the beauty too is like you can pay for them month to month. So, say that we're gonna have all these different campaigns during the spring, for example, if you're a pest control company, you can pay for those for literally the duration of those campaigns, shut those numbers down, and then you're good to go. Personally, I wouldn't even worry about shutting them down unless if you have like a huge quantity, because then whenever you go to run those campaigns again, you're going to need a phone number, and then you're going to have to go through all your landing pages, update that number, so on, so on. Or not even just the landing pages, but the actual ad copy in terms of the Google Ads call extension, all that stuff. It just creates a little bit of headache from my experience. But yeah, that you get Google Search Console, Microsoft Bing, Webmaster Tool, CallRail, or whatever call tracking tool you prefer to use. I've just been using CallRail for like 3 or 4 years. Haven't had an issue really with it outside of, like we said, just a blip here and there. Um, those 3 combined are going to be kind of your marketing stack that is really going to take everything to the next level. Because say you don't have this foundation in place where you know where everything's coming from, how are you going to spend marketing? I'll go back to full screen real quick. How are you going to spend your marketing budget without any level of confidence. Like, I know when I first started my business, I had, like, 0 co and that's why I looked into all this stuff, like, very, very quickly. I was like, "There's no way in hell you're telling me these billion-dollar, multi-million-dollar, whatever the case may be, companies are spending thousands and millions of dollars on marketing without proof that these channels are working." Now, companies get so big companies get so big, right, where, they just have to blow the money in some shape or form when it comes to customer acquisition, like, there's no such thing as too high customer acquisition costs, too big to fail, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to where the majority of their market spend is going, you better believe that they have the data to back up that certain channels are working, and the ones that aren't, they're not gonna put nearly the amount of funds into those, obviously. The same with our businesses. Obviously, we're small businesses, so every dollar matters to us. Like, if we see the average cost per acquisition is X amount for larger companies in our industry, obviously, we need to probably get under half. That's not always feasible or even remotely reasonable, but like you said, we wanna track all that data because like us, I first thought when I was running my business that Facebook ads would be the thing, Facebook ads are awesome, they're cheap, blah, blah, blah. Turned out Facebook ads are not really that great until you have at least about 1,000 contacts to where you can actually make what's called a lookalike audience, um, which I'll have videos coming up this upcoming year for you guys about that, how to create a lookalike audience with the audience that you already have, importing those contacts. The whole process of doing that, which I think I might have done once before, but I know it's changed a lot since I did that one. But the whole point with that being said is like Facebook ads just aren't really good outside of at the most brand awareness from our experience until you get to level where you have a lot of contacts that you can import into your ads account and say, "Hey, we want to target people like this specifically." And even then, I mean, the results are mid at best. So the beauty of marketing tracking. I mean, literally within CallRail, there's opportunities in there that you can set it up to where not it runs specifically, you still have to go in and run the report, but you can track what is our cost per acquisition based on each marketing source for Facebook ads, for Google ads, for, our normal just organic search, all this different type of stuff. So that is, in my opinion, the most important point whenever you're first starting and looking to grow specifically your home service business, because to grow your home service business, you're not gonna be able to rely on just simply going out and shaking hands and this and that, like, obviously, all this other stuff is great, right? Like, you wanna get in different networking groups, you wanna do like chamber events and sponsor events and all the traditional stuff you want to do. But at the end of the day, if you really want to grow, you're also going to have to learn how to work it in the digital age. And to do that the right way, you have to set the foundation that we just kind of briefly talked about. So if y'all have any questions or anything about that, do not hesitate to drop it in the chat. My whistle is getting really dry, so we're going to take a quick little break, probably like 60 seconds or less, and I will be right back.
Anyone know what's on page 10 of search results? SEMrush can help you get found online. Try it too? Optimize your website, create content that ranks, and earn backlinks. Rank higher with SEMrush.
There we go. Always forget to unmute that mic when I first come back. But I actually, while I was getting a drink here, I knew there was a way that I could show you guys this data that I'm going to get pulled up here. Go out like this. I'll pull it up like this. That probably is better for our mobile users too in the mobile stream. Um, So I knew there was a way that I could show you guys kind of a little bit more of this without exposing a bunch of data that obviously shouldn't be out there. So with call rail, like I said, this is kind of the back end of like what the call log looks like. So I showed you guys what, like kind of the forms look like briefly. I wanted to show you guys what the calls look like when they come in. So when all the different calls come in, it'll tell you, device type. I know for the most part only mobile tends to show up, and even then, again, with all the different blockers and stuff, usually you're not really gonna get that data, not that it matters, but sometimes it's good to know. And then when you're actually running like PPC campaigns, you're actually going to see the keywords that they typed in as well. And then of course, the referring, be it search engine that was being used, or if it was a direct, if somebody like actually just typed in the website directly. Chat GPT, you see right here as well. Um, with Search GPT specifically. And then on top of that, of course, the actual landing page, different landing pages that were accessed as well. And then, of course, it'll tell you in terms of the campaign, in this case, Google Business Profile. And then some of these that say search, a lot of them are, when all you see is no data and just search, more times than not, that's going to be like scam calls. You all will catch on very quickly on how process scam calls. Pretty straightforward. You just set up a call menu in your whatever software you're using. We use OpenPhone. Now Quo is what they're called, apparently, Quo.com. Um, which, by the way, if you all are looking for like a business plan or whatever, or separating your work life and your home life, and you don't want to have to like get another cell phone, you can try them out. I know they give you all like a steal of a deal using in the description of all our videos and streams. Um, Different topic for a different day, but you set up a phone menu in there, and any of those bot calls, they hang up on the phone menu every single time. Once a blue moon, you'll get some random cold caller from India or something trying to sell you some BS. But in terms of all of it cuts out about 80 to 90% of the BS calls for sure. But yeah, I wanted to hit on that real quick, call rail, because, like I said, it's pretty cool. I mean, what I love too is Google Search Console. We like looking at comparing months over months, year over year. Thing that I like about CallRail too is we can literally compare over the previous periods. So I'll say, hey, let's look at this year compared to last year. And what do you see here? Last year, 580 calls over the same period. This year, that's 1,300. So when you're looking at, hey, is what we are doing working in terms of our year over year changes? Obviously, you can tell very quickly, say if our calls got cut in half, I'd be freaking out, obviously. Since our calls are over double, um, obviously I'm not too, let's see, it says, yeah, up 118% over year. So love again being able to track all that data and just see everything. You can do the same thing with your form submissions, your text messages, because your call rail number as well. Which again, majority of that is spam, scammy stuff. But just again, if you're gonna spend money on marketing, which we've discussed, you have to do in order to grow your business, not just start it, but even grow it and get more than just a handful of customers. You're gonna have to market. And why would you throw a dart in the dark, not knowing where you're aiming, right? I don't care if it's call rail, I don't care if there's, like, some bootleg version that's, like, half the cost. Either way, you are going to have to spend some money on this stuff. Just make sure that you are getting a good one, and believe it or not, call ones out there, you guys know I tend to kinda price around a whole bunch of stuff, so for our business. So, um, because I'm in your own shoes, I mean, we're not a huge company, like, every dollar matters within our business. So, um now that we kinda went over a little bit of marketing tracking, I'll do one last marketing tool for you guys in terms of just tracking everything. Local Falcon, I won't dive too much into it, But pretty much in short, I've done a lot of videos and things on the local Falcon and different tools similar to it. What it is it just tracks your Google Business profiles, ranking. You can literally set these up to run automatically once a week, once a month, whatever the case may be. You can set it up for like a 5 mile radius. For my preference, 10 mile radius. 5 mile radius, 3 mile radius. I mean, just get 50 to 100 reviews and get some reviews every few weeks, and you'll rank within a 3 mile radius, hopefully, no problem. I like looking at the 10 mile because I know like that's to the point that we're at. We're to the point where we're trying to, okay, how can we break in? Like, I do not like the fact that there's remotely anything above 10 or 5, even for that matter, within a 10 mile radius. The search term rat exterminator, which apparently is a very popular term for my keyword research, believe it or not. KP, that means you're showing up in the knowledge panel on top of that. So you know where sometimes they'll say like, things that people are searching for, like asking questions. Apparently we have a link showing up inside of that, so we're kind of double dipping, if not even triple dipping, because a lot of our links are also showing up in the SERP for that search term as well. But of course, within like I said, 5 mile roughly radius, you should be dominating relatively good, depending on the search term. I like doing 10 mile because it lets us know, okay, where are we starting to kind of break in? Like you see Saxy, Texas, Rowlett. Of course, we had a Rowlett hub at one point, and we will again in the future, but um, just looking at different ways to be able, and when I say what these are showing is Google Business Profile. If you don't know what the Google Business Profile is, if you type in, for example, rat exterminator, Plano, and then we scroll down here to the businesses, as you can see, of course, like that grid showed, we're showing up number one for that search term. Um, you know, any business, whenever you see this map, what we call the map back here, that is what Local Falcon is showing you. And you can play around with it, different towns, say Allen, Texas. Um, hey, somebody's actually ahead of us. Well, they're in Allen, so that makes sense. Um, I always like just coming in here. Specifically, it's better if you're doing it on incognito mode, from my experience. But even just doing like this, you can generally get a idea of everything. Saxon, Texas. Wow. Oh, look, we're not in the top three, but looky there. Our link is showing up number one for rat removal, and this is our silo page. I'm not even going to get into a whole nother screen for a whole nother train. We'll just put it that way. But um, that's what it's all about, is just trying to dominate. If you're not trying to dominate, then you will be dominated. So, let's see, pull myself up full screen here. Yeah, matter of fact, since we have this pulled up here, um, I finally kind of relaunched, so to speak, our email newsletter. So if you are tired of like missing out on streams, which I hear a lot of in the chats whenever, usually when people see the streams after we've already completed it or whatever, like if you're tired of missing out on streams, videos, whatever the case may be, pretty much tired of relying on YouTube's algorithm to notify you that we're going live or anything like that. If you submit your name. You don't even have to put your phone number. It just you may put it in there, but if you just put your name and email in there, you will get the notification via email anytime a stream has been scheduled. Not just when we go live, but anytime it's been scheduled. Of course, anytime a video, not short, but if a video, long video goes up, you'll get notifications about that. Not shorts, obviously, so that'd just be ridiculous. Shorts get uploaded like that, obviously, but any of the long form video content, anything like that that we put out, you're going to get the notification first and foremost about that, as well as the audio only podcast episodes. Um, and then on top of that, I decided to go ahead and do a daily gram, which is pretty much once every morning, as soon as I hop out of bed, essentially, typing something real quick to, be it motivate you, make sure you're staying on track, being disciplined, doing what you're doing, giving you a little growth tip for, a little tip to, make your website better, make your SEO better, make your, cold calling better, whatever the case may be. Just giving you guys, like we said, just a quick little hitter. Nothing crazy. Probably takes like 30 seconds to read, essentially, and then on with your day. And then, of course, most importantly, no spam. I'm not going to be sending you guys, obviously, a bunch of bullshit links. Oh, buy my course, any of this crap or whatever. Like, it's just exactly what it says here: new videos, podcasts, daily gram messages, and um, fun stuff. So if you want to join that, there is now a link in the description for that, or you can simply just go up to Griffin B. Thomas. That's B as in boy, B.com. We got that relaunched, and I actually literally just launched it this morning. So it's very straightforward. There's only one page on there right now, just a home page that takes you right to the form and then whatever system you wish to follow. So got that mess out of the way. And obviously all of that is like else that we do here. See if we got any questions in the chat. Doesn't look like we do so far. Now that we got kind of all the marketing out of the way, because we spent what, half an hour on just setting the foundation of our marketing. What is next? Now that we are in the process of growing our business in terms of getting more leads, we now have to fulfill these leads, right? Like we have to go out and do inspections, get the jobs done. And when you get to a point where you're getting 3 to 20 in some cases, which you will, trust me, 20 calls in a day, you obviously can't service them all yourself, right? So what do we do? Well, of course, we're going to hire people. So I'll give you guys kind of my, what would you call it, like SOPs, so to speak. Um, in terms of just kind of what I have so far. And by no means is this even enough. But first and foremost, of course, you want some admin training, which admin is probably the first, if not the second hire that you will probably hire, just depending on you more than anything as an entrepreneur. If you're somebody that enjoys being out in the field more, probably going to want to get an admin first, of course. You being more admin oriented, someone like me, more back end website and stuff. I actually hired a technician. You can't necessarily go wrong either way. A technician is obviously going to cost more, so that might be something to consider as well. But either way, you all can see here I have a combination of videos and actual scripts in here, be it straight up basic script that they can literally just kind of fill in to was this taking routing skills to the next level. So of course, like I have intro videos for them. But then we also have like taking your skills to the next level videos. And then hint, hint, whenever they show that they are competent in doing this, is when we start possibly considering giving them some kind of raise as well. Once they're doing these, taking your skills to the next level and wanting to do it, showing that they want to grow within the company and things like that. But yes, let me see if I can just show you a quick example. So this one here, this is not necessarily a script. This is just kind of what our admin, including my wife was the one who set up the first version of this, matter of fact. Shout out to her. But I've found that they all love having this where they can literally print some of these bad boys out and just keep them right by their side. Because what they'll do is just kind of fill in the information as they get it. They'll get obviously the phone number when they call in, who they're speaking with, what the issue is, what's the address of the home, what's the square footage, what are we quoting them based on that. Do we need to just schedule inspection, whatever the case may be, and any other important information. And then they got, of course, some room here where they can write notes and things like that off to the side. And shit sold, right? Regardless if it's an inspection or whatever the case may be. This is great for especially when they're in those early phases where they don't necessarily know everything just off the top of their head, right? At some point after about 10, 20, however many calls, you kind of just almost have it programmed in your head, right? Any of you that are in your business, you know what I'm talking about. But when someone has never done this before, then obviously it's going to take reps. So this is a great tool for them to utilize. Like we said, they'll print it out, have a few copies of it by their side every single day when they start the day, and it just kind of helps guide them through kind of the basics. And then of course we have like a whole binder of information, a combination of information and scripts. That way they know exactly what everything is, what everything costs, all the details of it. And then, of course, video as well, with tutorials and things like that. Just again, you want to make the onboarding and just overall training process as easy as possible. And believe it or not, most of this I did not have set up when I hired my first employee. So how do I know this stuff works? Because I did it with it and without it. And like I said, by no means do we have everything at all. Like that's just under admin training. We have executive assistant training, financial training. Like I said, financial. Yeah, I have like stuff for keeping track of QuickBooks and things like that. Um, so what do you guys notice? This is the most important point I wanted to hit on with all this is, like, what do you notice about all of our SOPs? We have more videos than we do text, or it's pretty close, like 50-50 to just a slight advantage of video. In some, we have both. We have video and we have text. Why? Because everybody's learning style is different. So what I like to do is I like to record if possible, especially because anything on the computer, it's very easy to, I mean, you can use free software, you can use like Zoom, you can use Google Meet, like there's all these free ones you can use, and just simply record yourself doing something, talk as you're doing it. Don't just click around. Like literally explain every single thought of everything that you're doing. I'm going to click over here on admin training. I'm going to open up the basic script. Like literally talk through every ounce of everything that you're doing when you're recording these videos. That way they can literally, if they get stuck somewhere, they can do a timestamp or find out themselves just toggling through whatever the case may be, watching it over and over. More people than not actually learn better from seeing it done versus just simply reading it on a piece of paper. So what I like to do is I like to record the video first, and then from there I like to transcribe the video. And of course, the transcript's all messy. It's just a bunch of words, right? I take that transcript, put it into ChatGPT and my SOP creator tool that I created in ChatGPT, and have it turn this transcript into a ready to go SOP similar to, let's see if there was an example of one here. Is this it? No, maybe. This might be one, I don't remember for sure, but, that's how we do it, right? Like, we take the video, we do the video first and foremost, save it, upload it into the SOP drive, review, then we transcribe it, take that transcription, put it into GPT, boom. We have a pretty much ready to go SOP instead of having to do double the work, right? Worst thing you can do is do unnecessary work. To me, unnecessary work is here, I'm going to try to just remember all of it, typing it out. That's how, again, this is from my own experience here. Typing it out, forgetting a bunch of shit, and then I record the video, and then they're like, "Well, the video and the text didn't really match up." Again, ask me how I know because I went through it, and then I ding in my head, "Hey, why don't you record the video first, transcribe it, even better, take your transcription, put it in an AI tool, boom, you have your SOP." So, um, and like I said, this is just gonna get more and more full with, more employees that we hire over time. I'll have different marketing, sales, weed and fertilizer trainings, different technician trainings, just all sorts of stuff in here. But definitely suggest you guys utilize Google Drive for all that. Please don't be this trainer who creates all these trainings, doesn't organize them. You see here, I have different folders for pretty much everything. And like I said, I'm still in the process of just getting started doing this. Yeah, I did a lot of it April through June. Probably be doing it again this winter and spring as well, adding some more technician training and stuff like that. Because even with my tech who, I obviously know very well, he's my cousin, he had his own pest control business for a few years. There's still things that we did differently that, you know, made me realize even, "Oh, yeah, we should probably put this in a training modular," to where they know if we hire a technician who has experience, then they will know our way of doing it. So, again, cannot sleep on this enough. Written is great, but video is by far where you wanna begin when it comes to your SOP training. Record the video transcript, put it in a ChatGPT SOP creator, and then you have yourself a pretty good SOP. So, let's see, I will get myself pulled back up here. Do you have any other questions or anything so far? Got the chat pulled up. Nothing? Nothing else so far? Yeah, doesn't we got no questions so far. Let me see. I wanted to see if there was anything else that I wanted to make sure to hit on in this video stream for you guys today. Um, yeah, we talked about a little bit of marketing tracking specifically, SOPs. I guess we could hit on even hiring, 'cause that was one thing that I wanted to mention as well is, just kind of the hiring process, because that seems to be a thing that everybody, for whatever reason, just disagree on. I'm gonna take one last little drink break. Don't wanna be open this all in your all's ear or anything like that. And we'll be right back here in about 30.
Anyone know what's on page 10 of search results? SEMrush can help you get found online. Try it too? Optimize your website, create content that ranks, and earn backlinks. Rank higher with SEMrush.
We are not. There we go. All right, we are back. Yeah, so when it comes to hiring, this is something that, like, don't get me wrong, even still stresses me out. 'Cause obviously, I've hired 3 total since being in business. 1 is still with me out of those 3. So, like I said, if you can bat 500, you're actually doing pretty good. I'm batting about 33% right now, and, like, whenever it doesn't work out with an employee, don't be the employer, the boss, whatever you wanna refer yourself as the employer that's like, "Oh, well, they just, weren't a fit," which sometimes is the case, but, like, don't let these be, like, your first thing you think about when it comes to it not working out. Don't think that just, "Oh, they weren't a right fit. Oh, well, they, didn't this, they didn't that." Don't use "they didn't," "they wouldn't." Like, don't think about what they would or would not be doing. Think about, 1, how did they get in? Assuming all of that's right, how did they get in through your hiring process? And 2, what did I do? What did we do as the organization, as the company, as the leader? What did we do to fail them? Like you said, obviously, when it comes to hiring employees, there's gonna be employees that just don't fit. About half of them, if not more, are not going to fit your company culture, depending on, of course, how far you wanna go when it comes to company culture. Some companies, obviously the minimum wage type of ones that McDonald's and all this of the world, they're used to that high turnover. They know as employees are coming in, employees are going out. It's just never ending cycle. I personally don't want to run a business like that. I don't think a lot of you that are watching this channel do to, if you're going to be starting a business and hiring employees. So what can we do first and foremost to try to mitigate the the misfits, so to speak, from getting into our company? First thing that we're going to want to do is take a look at what every other company is doing when it comes to their hiring, how they word their ads, be it on LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. Take all that and throw it out. We don't want to be anything like them, obviously. We want our ad to stand out. You know, they mentioned something about, oh, we're, a family oriented business. Da, 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 da. Like, let's be real, most people don't care about that. They care about how much am I going to make up front? How much can I make? What are my true opportunities to advance in the organization? Pretty much, what do you offer? What do you offer? What do you offer? What do you offer? When you're first trying to get people to even fill out applications, it's not about what they're going to do for you. It's about what you're going to do for them. And then at the bottom of your ad, then you can put in the actual expectations of the job. Some people will reverse it. They'll put expectations first. I like putting the juicy stuff up front personally. Like, hey, this is what is going to sell you on us. Grab their attention, just like you would with an ad copy or customer, right? You're not going to put at the top of your ad copy, oh yeah, 12-month service agreement renews yearly automatically. If you don't pay your bill, we're going to send your ass to collections. Da, 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 da. Like, right? No, that'd be horrible. Same thing with your advertisement for employment. Obviously, you're going to want to put all the juicy stuff at the beginning. And then underneath, you're going to put now this is the expectation. This is, fill out and like literally put in there. Do not fill out an application if this is you. Now, obviously, there's stuff you can't, obviously, but you get what I'm saying in terms of like this is the type of person who is a fit for this job. And then from there, of course, you have your interview process, which again, I think a lot of companies get their interview process wrong. You have a lot of interviews that literally like don't even have the main managers who are going to be working with the employee the most in the interview. They just have like the main boss. Like, what are you doing? Like to me, first and foremost, which this is how we do it, whoever is like quote unquote the main manager that's going to be working with that employee or potential employee has the first interview. They make it through that interview and that manager sees them as, this could be a good fit. Then they move on to me. And then I obviously make the ultimate decision, but like we'll converse about it. Is this person like a good fit? What's the positive? What's the negative? Is there any negatives? Is there anything we're overlooking? What's the references? Let's call up references. Yada 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 yada. Right. But a lot of companies just don't do that. And that's another thing. I want to actually meet somebody out in public. I don't know about you guys. I've never, ever, ever had an interview where they wanted to like meet me for lunch, meet me for dinner, something like that. It was always, come to the office, we'll have this interview, fill out paperwork. Pretty much, if you have a pulse, you're hired almost. Me personally, I like to see people out in public, how they are with other people, be it waitresses and serve like the people serving them, right? Because if you're a piece of shit, excuse the French, but if you're somebody who is sloppy, treats the help, the waitress, whatever the case may be, just like a second class citizen, I automatically don't want you in the organization. You're just not my type of person. It is what it is. Again, that's a thing for me, and it never fails. So at least, on the standpoint of fitting in with our culture. So just some little things there that, you can and maybe for you, it's something else. Maybe it's not going out to eat, maybe it's a random hobby or something, but either way, like, in my opinion, before you actually fully hire somebody, it would definitely be a great idea to get out in public with them in some shape or form, simple meal, whatever the case may be. You pay for the meal, obviously, um, and then just kinda see how they conduct themselves out in public because, most of your employees as a home service business owner, as a pest control business owner, are gonna be dealing with people out in the public. You want some public menace, driving your company truck, dealing with your customers, being the brand. Like, you gotta think every technician is your brand. Your brand is going to live and die based on your employees. So, specifically the technician. So, yeah, I guess if we don't have any more questions, we'll probably start wrapping this one up. I know we've been live for about an hour already. I know I had a lot of stuff bobbled up in my head that I really wanted to get out there for you guys. So if you're just tuning in and you're looking at starting or growing your home service business, definitely wind this all the way back um, because we went over a lot. Went over in short, growing your business with marketing, specifically setting your marketing foundation, marketing tracking, all that stuff up to know where your ad budget is leaking money versus where your ad budget is printing money. Um, we talked about, of course, SOPs, specifically video versus, just old school writing it down for 'em. And then we talked hiring process, and, yeah, that was kind of it. I know we spent roughly, give or take, minutes or something, roughly. So, yeah, looks like we do not have any questions remaining. So I appreciate you guys taking time on a Saturday to, hop in this Q&A, this live stream. Like I said, I know it's been a while since we did a live stream, and I know a lot of you guys were looking forward to it. So I always appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, if you're new to me, just wondering who the hell is this guy? My name is Griffin Thomas. I own the company you see here, Preferred Pest Management in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in business over 5 years now. On my channel overall, I just document my entire business journey for you guys, the good, the bad, the ugly. And one more time, if you have not seen yet, we have relaunched. Um, what would you call it? I guess like a newsletter. And again, no spam of any kind. Not selling y'all any BS courses or anything like that. Like it says right here, you get first access to the new videos, live streams, podcasts, daily gram messages that will be starting Monday morning. And that's pretty much it. And of course, like everything, it's free. Or obviously not charging for this random stuff. It's just I know a lot of you are always commenting on the streams once they go from live to video, like, man, I missed out on this one, or man, I'm finally like I think even Ronnie in the chat said, uh, good to be able to catch you on a live stream again. Like a lot of times you all don't catch them because YouTube doesn't notify you. Even though you hit the notification icon, they don't notify you because their algorithm. So if you don't want to miss any of the videos, any live streams, like as soon as I schedule a live stream, you'll get a notification from your email that the stream is scheduled. And also our audio exclusive podcast, because not all the podcasts go on YouTube, of course. We're trying to change that. I'm trying to be more consistent with audio only as well, but eventually those will be on YouTube as well, but right now, not all of them are. But yeah, if you want any, then all you have to do is hit the link down below, which is griffinbthomas.com. And yeah, you just put your email in, your first name, and boom, you get a little welcome email from me, a little motivation, and like we'll be off and running. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that bell icon, or like we said, F the bell icon. Don't rely on that. Just submit your email, and you will get an email notification whenever we go live or upload another video. I appreciate you guys as always. If I don't, for some crazy reason that I can't control, see or hear from you guys before Christmas, of course, I'll have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.